Hello everyone. Now, a lot of you have been asking for a show and tell of the many healing tools that I have, and this is my office. This is where I do most of my videos, I play my music, I do my research. So when you have an appointment with me, I am sitting over there in that corner with all of the magic tools that I use. But let's have a little walk around the room. So first of all, this is where I keep my musical instruments, some of them, my beautiful sitar and the ancient Greek lyre. That is my healing couch, all folded up, ready for videos. And let's just move around here. I'll show you a couple of very beautiful rocks. Here is a gorgeous kind of pyramid of rose quartz. And that pillar is purple and green fluorite. So that just raises the energies of this electrical corner. And my very special geode that was gifted to me by my partner. And I use this for cleansing things. So I have a pendulum cleansing in there, and this is a long-term cleansing, and that is because that pendulum was handed down to me by my grandmother, and it was used for a lot of haunted houses and things, which I don't do anymore, but the energy needs to be raised. My couch, my music books and spell books. This box here is full of tarot and oracle cards. There's my mala beads, which are kept secret. They're not supposed to be shown to people. So all of you who wear those around your neck, take them off and hide them. Teaching folders. Oceanic Reiki, Celtic Reiki, Angelic Reiki, Usui Reiki, Egyptian Reiki, and crystal courses and things all along there. And then this is my solstice altar. And this year it is dedicated to the god Apollon, who is just around me everywhere at the moment. And there we have the god himself. And we have some new tools that I'm starting to work with. This is Greek letter divination. There are some dice and I throw these to get to learn them. So it's a really fast-paced learning. And then in this bowl here are the actual tiles of the Greek letters. So they're being activated in the solstice. There is my wheel of the year, my mead. And then up here is my altar. We have an offering cup and we have some cards of Delphic oracle sayings. The next shelf is reference books and teaching books. And then up here, this is more a storage shelf really. Singing bowls, pictures of my family, lots of selenite and geode, great big tuning fork. And those bottles have got water from sacred wells. And that's what I use for my spell crafting. My mother's Eastern Orthodox cross, because I come from a church family. And then up here we have some of the corals and shells collected when I was a child in Bermuda. We didn't know that the reef was in danger then. It's illegal to get those now. A couple of shells. And then we're going to move down. Now, this is what I call my desk. So here I do my music practice. So we have a little altar to Sarasvati. Let me just fold the leg, angle this down so you can see a sitar. It's a little crystal of a cannabis leaf that somebody gave me. And we have Sarasvati in there. We have a Shiva Lingam, a sitar. That heart-shaped shell is a Shiva shell. And a Shiva bullet, a gate eye. I'm not sure of the name of it. And there's a tiny little Ganesh in there as well. Okay. That picture there is my druid guide that a very dear friend who is now deceased drew for me. He refused to show himself for 3 visits. On the 3rd time we were lucky because he said she knows what I look like. We have a beautiful carving probably from Africa. She is part of the ancestors. And then we have the Egyptian pharaoh head and the Buddha. And then here is my beautiful bonsai. I used to grow many of these. I had about 30 or so at one time. But that is the only one I have left, and I'm now starting to make them and grow them again now that I have a garden. So we have a amethyst crystal tree, and when people need distant healing, I often cut a little square of paper out and stick it in the tree's leaves somewhere. A singing bowl. Orbicular jasper, good for breathing and oxygen. This is where I keep my knives and wands. Let's put the Stonehenge knife back on there. And it is resting on carbon. I forget the name of it at the moment, but that is cleansing. So we have a Lemurian quartz, a Preseli bluestone, what I call the Stonehenge knife, a yin Stonehenge knife that we cleanse through the hole with, and a clear quartz wand. Behind it here is a Tibetan quartz Merkaba, very powerful. Here is a Tibetan quartz sphere, and here is a Tibetan quartz pyramid. A beautiful rose quartz angel. The black abalones, I have 2 of those. So they're very delicate. So they're within easy access. I can just grab them and they won't break in the shell basket. My crystal goblet on top of my Greek lettering because I'm just trying to learn that at the moment. And this is where I keep my pendulums. I only have 3 on there at the moment. I've probably got another 2 in a bag somewhere, one over there. So the middle pendulum is an Egyptian Isis pendulum, very powerful. That is an Atlantean symbol, harmonic, so harmony. And that is just a crystal quartz one. And then we have the powerful red or rose Aswan granite Ankh. A lot of the statues are made of that. Shungite, that's the black stone, that's the pyramid, and the same that the knives were on. Shungite pyramid with the Greek eye of protection. We have Bastet, the goddess cat, goddess from Egypt, and one of my spirit animals, the scarab, Kifari. Okay. Now, let's start at the top. Here we come to all of the interesting shells. And so here we have a bit of a pagan altar. The pictures in the background are of places that I have been to and loved. A hair from a dearly departed friend. That white figure there, that is where my druids meet, the Long Man of Wilmington. And I have adopted a little bit of the Long Man of Wilmington, and we go and clean him up once a year. So we have the labyrinth there, we have the simmering pot for spells, various candles and journals. This, I call it my standing stone. It is made of petrified wood. And then onyx candle next to it. Here we have a flute, believe it or not, in the shape of a raven. A little foxtail behind that. And then we have the Stonehenge altar with the green man and the green woman. There's a candle there. I don't light a candle, I put a fake one in there. Various offering pots. The sun is over on the Apollo altar at the moment. And then we have some bones, some skulls. We have a rabbit skull to the left. We have a bird skull in the middle, and the third one is not a skull, it is a pelvis of an animal, but I think it looks like a dragon. Okay. Cauldron, various stones from sacred places. And we have a little fairy altar over here. That fossil, that big grey fossil here. My family went for a walk on a beach in England, in Somerset, when I was 3, and we found that. And when it was time to leave, I had a complete and utter meltdown tantrum as a 3-year-old, and I refused to leave my rock. So my poor beloved father picked it up and carried it an hour back to the car for me, and I've still got it. So that holds space. Now we move down there. That picture at the back there is called a Sri Yantra. And it is from the Hindu or the Sanskrit system. We have Egyptian deity here. We have Isis as the black statue there. Behind we have Anubis, Bastet and Sekhmet, and of course the Sphinx, and those are made out of alabaster. The green sphere is called a dragon puzzle ball, and that is from China, and it is all carved from one piece. It has 4 or 5 layers within. And in front are 2 shells. One represents Vishnu and the other Lakshmi, and Hindus may put these on a red cushion in their home and give offerings to it. They are the embodiment of the gods themselves. Okay. Here we come to the Oceanic Reiki shelves. Florida lightning whelk, a frog shell, that is a trumpet. We have our oceanic dragons here. And the Tori, the symbol of oceanic Reiki. This shell is called a Tun shell. And I found that on the rocks in a Greek island about 30 years ago, and I brought it all the way home. It is cracked and damaged, but I do believe now that Poseidon left that for me to find. And this is called a bull-headed queen conch, or a bull conch, and I believe that is from Nigeria. That is good for sexual healing. If I pick this up, look at that colour, and that can be just rested on the abdomen and draw out that negative energy. These shells have been witnessed helping each other when they need to be righted again if they've gone upside down. Fellow shells have, or creatures have been seen moving in over a day to help right the other one. So they are sentient beings. This is a large spider conch, and underneath it are the oceanic Reiki symbols on stones. This is a shell I would put in someone's lap when they have to tell me their problems. I just rest it in their lap and I say, speak into the shell, and then we cleanse it afterwards, and they've got all their emotions out, and we can start the healing. Okay, next shelf down, another oceanic Reiki shelf. This is predominantly for fossils. So we have our little Buddhist monk with a lotus offering. That is one of those argonites. Various feathers, seagulls, magpies, crows. This is a buzzard, so it's like an eagle. Very big bird that I was given when I did a rune reading. And here we are with a stone that I turned over on the beach, and that fossil was showing. Now I haven't had it identified yet. I need to send it to the British Natural History Museum for identification. I thought it was paint, but it's not. So turn rocks over, people, on the beach. You never know what you may find. Here we have a megalodon tooth. You can cut energy. Also reminds me of crow. Looks like a crow's beak. So that's a megalodon tooth, quite a small one, I might add, which I use to cut things out of the aura. This is a dinosaur tooth from a Spinosaurus. If I lift that up, you can see. I don't use that for anything, but I've just had that for years and years. So let's move this so you can just see a bit better. Okay. Those are the inner ears of sperm whales fossils. We hold them for calm meditation. And just for a bit of context, humans' inner ears are the size of a grain of rice. So those are sperm whales. Here we have prehistoric dolphin vertebrae. Very light and porous. You can see the holes that would have been within the bone to make it light. And this one is quite pretty. It has a sun for happiness in. Another dolphin vertebrae. Okay. These buoys are used in protection spells. This is also a Shankar shell trumpet, which is a representation of the teaching status of Oceanic Reiki. And here behind we have a cedarfish, Bermuda red cedar, napkin holder like a sail ship. That's from my childhood. As we move along, we have a hanging trinket my daughter brought back from Australia. We have nautilus fossils. Beautiful. Let's lift that one up to show you. You've probably seen these in my videos. Look at the colours on that. So Fibonacci, reprogramming. That is the master symbol of Oceanic Reiki. We have a seagull skull there that I found. We have a different fossil, an ammonite, but symmetrical, not like the nautilus. I use that to represent a spiral going down or going up to the different levels. Nautilus cut in half. Other nautilus fossils. We have a wand made by my darling friend Krishna, who is now passed over. That is sand from the local beach and shells. And this is controversial, but it is from my childhood, from Hong Kong. It is ivory carving of a fish scene. So my father used to live and work in Hong Kong. Okay, now we're going to get a bit lower, but I'm just going to put this back. Okay. Now, we're starting to get to the level that I sit at. So I can reach just up here and get any of these shells during a treatment. So let's start over here. At the back, we have black-tipped oyster wing shell, and I quite often pretend they're whale tails. So we scoop out of the aura and fan the person down. This one here is an Argonaut shell. A baby octopus emerged out of this, called a paper nautilus, very fine. I have 2 of those. We have a true heart cockle, a symbol of Oceanic Reiki. We have an ox heart cockle for stronger healing. We have a Venus shell, which I use to comb the aura. And we have a votive Shankar shell from India with the Buddha carved on it. And people would keep that in their pockets and sort of run their hands over it, perhaps when they're worried or nervous, a bit like a palm stone. Okay. This is called a Japanese wonder shell. We use it to spiral up the different layers. There is a building, I think in Copenhagen, modelled on this shell. And this is from Japan. It would have been about 50 metres below the surface, and they're brought up in trawler nets. Again, controversial, but we're putting it to good use now. This is called a pagoda shell from Mozambique. A lot of shells coming out of Mozambique. We'll use that to spiral higher towards the heavens, basically. Wental trap. And they actually thought this was a deformed shell when they found it, a bit like the Japanese wonder shell. They thought they were deformed. And one of my Oceanic Reiki students runs it down people's arms to tease and open the channels. A vulva shell. I will actually use this and that one, the pagoda, a bit like to pierce and draw out, like a dropper, negative energy. Let's say someone has an abscess in their mouth. I would use that. Various limpets, which are used to siphon energy off. Thinking of the nature of the creature, it would have sucked onto the rock, so we suck energy off. There's another one, a larger one, which is easier to use. We would also rest them on people as well if they have a problem. This shell here is called a carrier shell. And other creatures basically hitchhike a ride. So if you pick that out of my shell basket, which is below, because there are 2 others in there, I would say, what burdens are you carrying on your back? Pieces of tree coral from Zanzibar, from when I worked out there years and years ago. A star shell, or is it called a sun shell? A star shell. Beautiful and delicate. I don't really use that, I just have that. Fossilized coral from the Stonehenge region. This is star coral, which is the same as this. So even though this one is heavier, it holds the same energy as this one found in a beach in Thailand. And this is also from Zanzibar. This is called tube coral, tubular coral. Beautiful. I don't know if it stings. I know the red coral in Bermuda stings. There you go. So behind we have a beautiful power shell from New Zealand. We have a fresh water shell, which is actually dyed, but it still works nicely. Another abalone shell. This is called a mitre shell. I use this as a crystal wand. We draw energy out with that end. We point it to bring energy back in, just like a crystal wand. A bear's paw clam, so people are clamming up and can't talk, I'll use that with them. A false egg cowrie. If this was picked out in a reading, I would say, what are you hiding your face for? What are you hiding behind? And a bit of folklore. This was also apparently a talisman given to pregnant women in Japan and sort of Papua New Guinea areas. Good luck for the pregnancy, but also great to bear down on when you're in the midst of those contractions. This is a different cowrie shell that I use to pull energy and pain out of people. I think it's a cyprit. I think I've got that name wrong, but I think this comes from the Indian Ocean. Over 100 different species of cowrie and abalone shells. So in the front here we have some of these symbols of oceanic Reiki drawn onto the beach pebbles where I live. And this is a fossilized sea urchin which I use at the root chakra. In Tudor times in the UK, children scoured the beaches for these and sold them as lucky stones. There's my daughter in the back kissing a dolphin, which I just love that picture. There we have the Tory again. I'm just going to stand up. Okay. So at the back we have a spiny clam, I think that is. I imagine that as a treasure chest with protection. We have a melon volute shell. I use this at throat chakras. We have a baby ton shell like the large one above. Same as that. Two turban shells, one from the Philippines and one from Southern Africa. I use those to give people a turbo boost and for a general slow balanced healing so it doesn't happen too fast and destabilize the client. That is predominantly at the solar plexus, that is at the heart. A trochus or a top shell, which would have looked like that before the colour was sanded off to reveal the pearlescent. Okay, I think they're from the Mexico area. And then we have another nautilus shell. Scallops from the local fishermen here. And this one is also a turban shell. It is the same as that, but very large and ground down to reveal the pearlescent. Okay, now we go down a level and here we are. This is where I sit. So, here is my Greek altar. It's a little bit sparse at the moment. We have Sulis Minerva, my spirit guide calls me Minerva. We have Poseidon, who brought the oceanic Reiki through. This is called a fairy stone, but let me move this tripod out the way. This is my representation of the Pythia or Pythia, the oracle of Delphi, the mouthpiece of the god Apollo. We have a little light box there because Apollo is the god of light. That pinkish stone I brought back from a beach in Ithaca where Odysseus, my Greek hero, came from. I used to live in Greece each summer and work on the islands about 30 years ago. We have an angelic quartz, that's sort of this one here. Goddess Artemis, a new moon. And we have a couple of we have a Greek and a Roman coin from antiquity and smithsonite from the Delphic mines. Okay, various drawers with altar cloths in. Now, a row of pyramids, behind a row of flowers, and a row of dragons. And we have a fresco of Our Lady and Jesus. We have pyrite at the back, a Taoist coin, and another yellow water dragon. That's yellow jasper. Here is a healing grid. People get me to do healing grids for other people. So that is a healing grid at the moment set up for someone doing A-levels, big exams in the UK. Okay, so now, here we are. I'm sitting back on my chair now. And this is my workspace. A Greek rug from Parga. And here we go, that's where I see my clients. It's set up for solstice with a druid's prayer and an oak tree. Now you might noticed that I do have symbols because there is just so many cultures I work with. I can't keep them all in my head. I've got most of them in my head, but I don't want to give people the wrong information. Let's go start at this corner. So I take my jewelry off and I place it in there to cleanse. We have a shungite cube because I have lots of power points there. I rest cards on there. I've got a selenite wand coming, so amethyst to take energy away from the client's reading that is done on here. Smoky quartz, amethyst, pink amethyst, and a druzy agate blue lotus. These are all used for cleansing. That is also cleansing. That is the green fairy stone. It's green calcite, and also Archangel Raphael wanted his energy put into there. Here we have chakra stones, various raw chakra stones. I have 4 sets of these because I do 3 clients a night. There you go, there's some more pendulums. Another couple of Atlantis harmonic ones. Very good, these. That is actually a clear quartz candle. Some more chakra sets. And here we have a black obsidian mirror. Okay. Let's put all of these back. Oak essences that I'm taking at the moment in essential oils. That is an Arwen. That is a druid symbol of inspiration. That is an Arwen symbol. And again, this is set up here because it is the solstice. Vesica Pisces reading mat and mirror. In this box here are the tarot cards and the oracle cards I use on a regular basis, and we have these feathers, beautiful wafting feathers. Okay, now I'm going to come around this way. I'm just going to move. So I have bags here. Those are just small oracle decks. This is the Greek reading bag with Greek decks, and that's where the tiles go. So a lot of Greek divination sets here. Another regular tarot card. Now, palm stones and worry stones. These are all used in healings. Another fossilized sea urchin from Madagascar. Let's see, the chumpy stones from Peru. A hummingbird. These are run over channels. I'm not trained in it, so I don't know how to properly do it. You'd probably be able to find a Peruvian shaman doing this on YouTube. This is a votive stone from the Tibetan monks that are exiled in Dharamsala in northern India. That is the Buddha. You see he has a shell for a nose. Can you see that? He's always watching you. And then on the other side, we have the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. A mantra that is meant to wipe away karmic debt. We have our moon. It's one of the new quartzes that they heat up with metals. So various palm stones and worry stones and smaller ones. Lots of those smooth little worry stones that I use for healing. Okay. Now let's move over a bit. There's the chimes that you all like. That bag there, that purple bag, is full of Oceanic Reiki divination tools. In front are spritzers that I make, chakra oils that I advertise for my friend, various bits and bobs that aren't used on a regular basis anymore. The raw crystal stones. Okay. The Reiki symbols, some of them. Here we have the crystal quartz points that I place in front of chakra stones to bring energy into a stone or take it out of a stone. Another crystal point. And here we have precious ones that I want to keep in one place so that they don't get damaged. So we have a scarab from Egypt. This is a representation of Sobek because it looks like a crocodile god from Egypt. Azurite and malachite, very special to me, used to place on the heart in psychic surgery in Egyptian Reiki Seiken, given to me by my Reiki master. Another one of these angel aura quartzes. Brush that down an aura. Maybe even activating with the point end the crown. And then this is another dragon representation of a dragon because it looks like a dragon. This is black kyanite, and I will brush that down an aura. Okay. Let's move this computer out of the way. Okay. Various tinctures and essential oils. Ones that my friend Krishna made. Sodalite and blue kyanite. Tiger's iron and something called garden quartz. Or maybe amphibole, I can't pronounce it, quartz. So I cut away with that. And my favourite one, beautiful peridot and green kyanite for the heart, made by my beautiful friend Krishna, who is on the other side. And another person who has recently flown to the other side, a friend Chris, who gave me this. I call this the Phoenix wand, made of, I think it's a golden healer or yellow calcite, and the big wand. Okay. Now I'm just going to put this down because we have these baskets to do. Okay, so hope you're not too seasick. Okay. So various shells, beautiful red abalone, that is the seashell that brought the Oceanic Reiki through to me, so that I can bring it through to you with the god Poseidon. So I call that the sun shell. And this is another abalone, a different variant, and I call this the moon shell. And I will put the moon shell at the top of a person and the sun shell at their feet, and we'll bounce energy between them and or cleanse and pull out. Okay. a shell basket. But everything in here is a pair. So if somebody has a conchomancy reading, a seashell reading, they will pull out a pair of shells and hold them, and we will do a reading with them. These are the oils that I clean the seashells with, spritzers, and that is some seaweed, powdered seaweed, which I will literally open and wave under their nose, and it smells of the beach. Okay, sand shaker. Underneath, but I'm not going to get it out, is another seashell and beach trinket divination, so like a bone set for the beach. And here we come to the pagan magic tools. So first of all, we have a gourd made into a shaker, a rattle from Lithuania. So use that as a rattle. And then we have my bone set trinkets, which I will be using on solstice evening to do live readings with. Let's get some of those sets out. Let's show you. So we have, these are little mini crystal, like clear quartz, but they are Preseli bluestone. So I will take them traveling and direct energy in and out of little chakra stones like this. So that's for traveling. Little crystal mushrooms. The directions painted on earth, air, fire and water. So these are all for healing mats. And those are called boji stones. Put one at the top and the bottom of people to align them. And down here we have something called Moki marbles from Utah. I have 3 of them, but we use those in the same way, or I make a pyramid. They're made out of pyrite. Not sure. Very heavy. Very heavy. Another chakra set and a pendulum. I'm just going to tip that up and just show you all of the little trinkets from many different paths, many places. So we'd reach in, pull a handful out and do a reading. There's all sorts of things from all sorts of cultures in there. Okay. Here I have a coconut shell with rune and Ogham. Anglo-Saxon runes, there we go. That denotes Woden, so speak to the gods. Pull out an Ogham. Gort, we have ivy, and I made these Ogham myself out of wild cherry. Okay. And the wooden pendulum, the Thoth or Tahuti pendulum, modelled on one that was found in a tomb. And this one is made out of wood and it absorbs medicine. You've seen this on my Celtic Reiki videos. Okay. This is called a bullroarer, Australian, made out of sloe berries. What is it? Strife, blackthorn. So this will be circulated on a string. I can't really do it now. Let's see if you can hear this. So they were used to convey messages. I use it to clear space before I do videos up at the Downs or outside. Okay. Here we have another wand that I made, that I carved This has got all of the OM on, and I run this up and down the body. Here is my sort of druid knife that I wood whittle with. Okay. A drum beater, because I do play a drum, not very often, and this is made out of the firs, gorse in the UK, a happy wood. And then directing negative energy away, because the wand is pointing away. This is walnut, black walnut, so it poisons the ground underneath it, so that other big trees won't take the nutrients. So things are set up strategically here. Okay, we have set of OM. We have various tree cards kept with them. We have rune dice and we have OM dice. I'll take those out so that you can have a look at them. They're very tactile. Again, I take them traveling so that I haven't got to take. So they look like that, and the OM is carved on the edges. I've put the extra ones on the middle because they didn't come. There are two sets of OM. One is a 20 set and the other is a 25 set. So I've added the other 5. And here we have these beautiful, very tactile rune dice. Very rare, made out of elm, which got killed off most of the trees in the UK in the 70s and 80s. And I just love the way they move. So I primarily read Anglo-Saxon. These are the Elder Futhark. Okay. We have a Dantian set, so there are 3. This is the kind of chakra set that I use for Celtic Reiki. We have the Heartstone, the Lower Dantian stone, that is rose quartz, given to me by a druid at a Beltane ceremony. That is Madagascan jasper or agate I think, used at the Lower Dantian, and that is at the Yin-Tang point, the third eye. Malachite and something else, and these are variants balancing stones. Okay. We have a pendulum, a spell breaker, which I don't think I've done a video with yet, so perhaps I will do that over the next couple of weeks. This can break curses and it can clear karmic debt, etc. We call it the spell breaker. Absolutely huge. It looks like something that's come off a banister, so I have to be really careful and not hit the client in the head. So it basically spins until the problem is removed by the spinning. And it is so powerful that when I bought it, I was dealing with an extremely haunted house. I mean, the whole family were screaming with nightmares and seeing things, and the spirit knew that I was coming for it. This house was a beacon. About 3 people had committed suicide in it, in a very negative place. And the spirit hid this because it knew I was coming for it with this. And I phoned my lovely friend Chris, who's on the other side, and I said, I don't know where it is. Where is it? I need it. And he tuned in and he said, it's in a box. So I started going through all of the boxes in my house and I found it inside a sneaker, a brand new pair of sneakers in the shoebox. So that spirit was so strong that it was able to move this from my magic area and hide it from me. Subsequently, we did remove this horrendous entity, but I ended up with a black eye and I didn't even go into the property, and a great big lamppost fell down in front of the property on the night we did it. There was 4 of us involved in removing it. So very powerful. And I will do an ancestral healing and a karmic debt healing over the next week or so with this. Okay. What else have we got here? Now we are getting to the bones. So if you do not want to see animal bones, then I suggest you turn off now. Okay. Let's get a bowl out and tip these into a bowl. And you can see them. So these, I don't use them very often. I will perhaps around Samhain, Halloween. These are chicken wings, chicken bones, sorry. And the woman has painted them to be used in divination. That's got a serpent, a bridge, from walking across burning bridges. They are used. There we go, that's like the death card, isn't it? These are used in divination, and I haven't used these yet either because I just don't want to get shouted on at. But I will get them out this fall. Beautifully painted divination. Chicken bones. Here we have the wishbone. Heart on one side. Can't read that, my eyes are getting bad. So chicken bone divination tools. These are other various bones and fossils. You may have seen a set of these as a woman who does them on TikTok. Don't know if she still does. These are yes and no bones. They're actually, I think, well, this one is fox. We found that in the mud along the River Thames. And I think these are fox or sheep. So we hold them, we ask the question. Let's have a look. Can these be used in divination? Yes, yes, yes. Double yes. So if it crosses, it's a yes. And if they fall free, it's a no. So they're yes and no answers. And I think really that is it. There's another set of Ogham at the back that you could see, but I have made my own plant oracle. So what is this one? Dandelion. So and they've got various plants. And that is some of my tools. Again, I haven't showed you that because there is so much in there, and that is very heavy. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And what a great desk. I'm very proud of my desk because it's just so abnormal. So when you book a healing or a teaching appointment with me, I am sitting here with all of my magical tools within reach. So I'm going to leave you now from my show and tell. Have a great day, everybody. Lots of love and hope to see you soon.